Katie Benzan and Maryland are back inside the Xfinity Center in College Park after a historic trip out to Nebraska. They get the Illinois Fighting Illini today, led by Janae Terry, one of the best rebounding guards in the conference, and Jada Peebles. Illinois with its work cut out for them today as they try and spring an upset on the number 9 team in the country, right here on the Big Ten Network. Good to be with you. Welcome aboard. Chris Fosters and Megan McEwen with you. Why was it an historic trip out to Nebraska, you ask? Well, it has to do with Maryland's coach, Brenda Frese, the new Mrs. 500. She becomes the winningest coach in program history, surpassing the great Chris Weller with her 500th win as the head coach of Maryland women's basketball. By the way, her offense, pretty good. 95 points scored against Nebraska, a Pinnacle Bank Arena record. This all from the number 1 offense in all of women's college basketball, the Maryland Terrapins. So, Megan, what do you think makes this offense so blistering and effective?
Well, it helps when 5 starters on Maryland average double figures in scoring. Much of that due to the unselfish play of this team. The Terps rank 2nd in the Big Ten in assists per game with more than 19. That's good for 7th in the country. This Maryland team is so good in its 2-man game. Any type of pick and roll situation, players are great at reading the defense, playing off of each other, and so therefore your opponent has to pick your poison. Who are you going to try to stop? And a lot of opponents have Ashley Owusu circled on the scouting report, the Maryland guard having a great season. You see the numbers there, but Owusu's vision is savant-like, especially in transition. She has one of the best feels for the game of basketball. She sees things before they happen, and few guards in this league have that type of ability.
Those numbers over her last 4 games, just business as usual for the Maryland floor general. On the other side for Illinois, they've gotten a spark from Aaliyah Nye, true freshman. She was injured for a good portion of the season earlier, but has put up some really impressive numbers since she's been back.
The freshman guard has been rewarded by those numbers by starting the last 3 games, and she's had a big impact on the scoring end, especially from three-point land, shooting 41% from beyond the arc. Head coach Nancy Fay says she loves Nye's instincts when it comes to making decisions off of ball screens, and she says the sky is the limit for this freshman.
And there she is, anchoring the starting lineup for Nancy Fay, along with Kennedy Miles, Eva Rubin, Jada Peebles, and Janae Terry are the guards. Maryland, it's the same starting 5 that you've grown accustomed to. Diamond Miller, Katie Benzan, Ashley Owusu, Mimi Collins, and Chloe Bibby, the starters for Brenda Frese in pursuit of win number 501 today. Quite a milestone week for Brenda Frese. She picks up her 500th win in College Park, and her twin boys, Tyler and Marcus, turn the big 1-3 today. So lots of stuff to celebrate around the Maryland women's basketball program as Diamond Miller wins the tip to Ashley Owusu, and we're playing basketball. Mimi Collins, a great mid-range jump shooter, skims the rim on that one, and the rebound is batted around a couple of times and last touched by Bibby of Maryland.
Mimi Collins brings 6'3" size to the floor, but take a look at how she plays on the perimeter. Almost has guard-like instincts for Maryland.
And that mid-range jump shot that she's got is no joke. I mean, you see her step out, and in this case, take that pass away, but she'll knock that shot down more often than not, it seems like. Owusu with a burst. And Megan, one thing Illinois does not want to have happen is layups like that from Owusu.
And you see that decision-making right there, that burst, quick change of speed. Owusu has some of the best body control in the Big Ten as well, able to get to the basket at ease.
And Illinois would love to make Owusu settle for jump shots. She's got a great pull-up game too, but she's going to make more layups than she will jump shots, just speaking of the law of averages. Maryland ball after that tipped pass out of bounds. Nancy Fay, Illinois' head coach in her 4th season, 4-time NCAA Division III Coach of the Year with Washington University in St. Louis, and trying to turn the Illinois program around in a loaded Big Ten. Easier said than done. Owusu, there's the pull-up, Megan, and it's off the front iron, and Aaliyah Nye watches it bounce out of play.
You're watching Owusu come off the screen. Maryland loves to run those 2-man games, any type of screen action, and they kind of get to play within that offense, which is a lot of fun as a player, unless you kind of let the game of basketball come to you and flow.
Jada Peebles dragged her foot, and we'll reintroduce you to Brenda Frese. Again, the nice round number 500, her record with the Terrapins, most wins in program history. Of course, the 2006 national champion when Maryland was in the ACC. Fortunately, had some family in the stands in Nebraska for that record-setting win. Diamond Miller misses from 3. Her 2 older sisters were in the house, and they had the handmade signs. Megan, you were there. That was a cool thing to witness. Yeah,
her sisters were loud, too, in the stands, yelling for their siblings. So just a really cool day and an incredible accomplishment for Brenda Frese, who's one of the best coaches not only in the Big Ten, but also in the country.
Eva Rubin stepped out of bounds, and some early turnovers here for Illinois as they're looking for their first bucket of the game. In fact, already 4 turnovers for the Illini.
And credit Maryland's defense, area which has significantly improved for the Terps. They do a great job of surrounding players and making you really uncomfortable as an offensive player.
You saw a post touch there for Ashley Owusu, and that's Mimi Collins who steps out and drains the 3. So it's like an inverted offense for Maryland in that possession.
Maryland has the ability to play positionless basketball, and then they get you right here on that press, picking you up at 3/4 court, just trying to slow down, stifle you as an offense, all in the grill. And then look at Owusu's vision. Just sees the play before it happens. Great passing, unselfish play from Maryland. And Mimi Collins, 6'3", knocking down 3s. Positionless basketball, it's hard to guard.
I mean, good luck if you've got Mimi Collins knocking down 3-point shots like that. This is already the top 3-point shooting team in the Big Ten, over 41% as a program. And Mimi Collins would be like the 4th option to shoot the 3 ball.
And to think that she's shooting the ball so well from that area, 36%, which, you got to respect that as a defender.
So Ashley Owusu at the free throw line puts Maryland up 7-0. And for all the talk about Maryland's offense, Brenda Frese quietly has thought that her defense is rounding into form, and their press is giving Illinois all kinds of problems right now. Another steal for the Terps. Here's Katie Benzin, the best 3-point shooter in the country.
Katie Benzin is lethal from beyond the arc. Any sort of open look she has, she's going to make you pay, shooting nearly 52% from that area. Look at Mimi Collins getting to the passing lane, playing strong defense. Owusu, eyes in the back of her head, and Benzin makes you pay. Maryland up 10 early.
Well, here is the travel itinerary for Maryland on the day Brenda Frese won her 500th game as head coach. It was a crazy day. It was basically a 10-hour trip. They left the Xfinity Center in the early hours of the morning, landed a little before 11 o'clock Central Time, took their COVID test, played the game, had a post-game meal, actually had to wait around a little bit after the game in order to get on the plane back home to College Park, but all in a day's work, Megan, win number 500.
Not to mention, it was below freezing in Lincoln, Nebraska, so they also had to endure the elements. So add that all together, wild day Sunday, but I'm sure it felt good to win that 500, to be able to celebrate with family, and Brenda Frese just doing big things at Maryland, and this team's doing big things this season as well.
You just saw the 7th turnover for Illinois, a testament to Maryland's defense, and a team that looks absolutely in rhythm right now on both ends of the floor.
Maryland's press has the ability to speed teams up, make them really uncomfortable, and completely discombobulate you from any type of flow.
And Brenda Frese told us with the Nebraska game specifically, she thought her team did a really good job mixing up its presses and applying a lot of on-ball pressure as well to a good Nebraska offense with some really good scorers in Izzy Bourne and Sam Hybe. Benzin in the corner. Denied her 2nd 3-pointer of the game. Chloe Bibby fighting for the rebound, and it's eventually won by Kennedy Miles of Illinois.
Illinois playing a little bit of that zone, so Katie Benzin's going to try to find those gaps in order to get those open 3 shots. That was a good look from Benzin despite the miss.
We're 3 minutes and 25 seconds into this game, and Illinois has not attempted a field goal until that air ball from Janae Terry.
It goes to show you Maryland wants to play fast. They're going to try to make Illinois take fast shots.
Bibby underneath. Eva Rubin with a big rebound. Long pass to Miles. Great job running the floor by Kennedy Miles.
And sometimes you just got to get that first bucket in to get a little more confidence as a team. Try to get some type of flow going.
Maryland, among other things, is known for its runs. just had a 10-0 run to start the game. Collins, that's a 2-point try off the heel, and a foul on the floor.
Illinois getting out and running. If you force Maryland to miss, you have the opportunity to get out and run in transition, and that's where Illinois has success on that play. Credit Miles for getting out, running down as fast as she did. It's always good to have a really strong rim runner. You got to go hard to the other end.
Miles is an outstanding rebounder, just a sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio. Set an Illinois program record with 8 double-doubles a season ago. She's got 3 this year. Benzin, her second of the game.
You say the phrase hand down, man down, no hand up in Benzin's face right there, so she's able to make you pay from that range.
Terry misses from the top of the key. That was not a predetermined shot by Benzin. She waited until she saw the defense wasn't going to step out on her. Now this one, she knew she was going to let go, and she missed it short. Terry with the long rebound. Pass over to Peebles, who knifes inside and is fouled.
Always important on three-point shooters. You have to have a high hand in the face. And watch Benzin. Look, Terry has her hands down. That's enough space, enough room for a lethal shooter like Benzin to get a shot off, and that is Steph Curry-like. Doesn't need a lot of room, quick release.
Benzin could be due. She was 0 for 3. And as Kennedy Miles trips, Faith Masonis cleans it up. Benzin 0 for 3 from three-point range against Nebraska last time on the floor.
Maryland's defense is making Illinois so uncomfortable right now, disrupting any sort of offensive rhythm the Illini can get into.
Terry to the free throw line. A foul underneath. And a technical foul has just been assigned to Eva Rubin. So things going from bad to worse right now for Illinois.
Coming off, Terry finding Rubin posting down low, going against Mimi Collins a little bit. It's getting physical, a little chippy underneath, and it looks like the official just saw Rubin saying something to Collins.
After the foul was called on Mimi Collins, that was the common foul, and then in the retaliation, Eva Rubin was assessed a tech.
You can see the arms just kind of getting hooked. Look, this is Big Ten basketball. It's going to get physical down low. People are competing. They're going to go at each other a little bit. But it's always careful to make sure the refs don't see the retaliation. The officials, they always say they see the retaliation.
That was a pretty quick tech, all things considered. I mean, there was nothing physical about Rubin's retaliation there, but just a message really from the officials today, jumping on this game before tensions boil over, perhaps in a more pronounced way later on. Kevin Pethtel, Angie Enland, and Bruce Morris are our officials this afternoon. And it's Benzin who gets the technical foul free throws. Benzin, as you might suspect, is also a fantastic free throw shooter. She's missed just twice in 23 attempts. Sometimes, from what I understand, Megan, the technical free throws can be sneaky tough because there's no one around. It kind of gets you out of your element a little bit.
And it's always like dead quiet too when you're shooting the technical free throws. So yes, they are sneakily deceptive.
Yeah.
It's more of a mental thing. And I think free throws in general are always somewhat of a mental skill to possess. So, but when you have nobody around you and you're just shooting there, but everyone's watching, you better be able to step up to the plate with all eyes on you.
No problem for Benzin, however, and Eva Rubin still steaming as she heads to the bench. Benzin again for 3. Great box out and rebound by Solape Amusin, the first-year player for Illinois after spending her freshman year at Iowa Western Community College. Peebles, rebound, still up for grabs, and it's eventually Collins who hands off to Owusu. 17-2 run for Maryland here in the first. Masonis underneath. That might have been a tipped pass. It finds its way to Benzin, and that's automatic.
Illinois has to find Benzin, especially down on that offensive end. She's been wide open for these shots. The possession before, she was wide open using the screen coming off, so have to keep an eye on the shooter.
A foul inside, and you can count the bucket. That was Erica Porter, true freshman from Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Benzin can't believe it.
Erica Porter, another player for Illinois who started to play some more minutes as the season's gone on. And just a strong move. Benzin comes in trying to dig a little bit and ends up getting that foul called. But really important as an offensive player on Illinois to be really strong in the paint going up against Maryland, trying to draw those fouls.
Yeah, Porter playing only about 8 minutes per game this year. And this is only her 11th game played this season. Good-looking free throw there, and she's 5 for 8 on the season. But Illinois has got to have its freshmen and its sophomores, its younger players, step up in roles like this and really carry some momentum into next season. And there's Porter again with the rebound after the Collins miss. That was a tough shot by Porter. Rebounded Diamond Miller, and she's tripped. That's a foul.
Watching Maryland's defense, they're making every single shot for Illinois a tough shot. And what I mean by that, having a hand up in the face, trying to force Illinois into awkward angles where they don't have a clean look at the basket. Maryland disrupting any type of flow Illinois could get into.
Solape Amusin picks up her first personal. And the story of this first quarter has really been Maryland's defense as much as its offense, forcing Illinois into 9 turnovers already. Alasia Stiles on the floor, number 5 for Maryland, and Bibby joins the party.
Chloe Bibby with one of the most unique shooting forms in all the land. She shoots with the ball behind her head. She said she learned how to shoot from a YouTube video. Now keep in mind, Bibby hailing from Australia, so I can't wait to hear more about what exactly this YouTube video was and how she learned to shoot, but it's effective.
Janae Terry misses the three-point shot. Great offensive rebound and stick back by Aaliyah Nye.
And Nye is the type of player that's going to try to create those second chance opportunities, hunting down low, trying to get some points for the Illini.
Masonis backs her way into the post, and a pretty spin move for the sophomore, Faith Masonis.
Masonis doing a nice job feeling the defense on her back, making a move accordingly to the basket.
18-point lead for Maryland. 2.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Illinois trying to settle in here. Peebles calling for a screen. Porter sets it. 5 to shoot. Peebles double teamed, missed the shot. Stiles the rebound. Owusu, you saw that pull-up game coming, but it's short. And the rebound to Maryland's Owusu. Diamond Miller sets the feet. Bibby with the offensive rebound. Miller tries it again, and she is fouled hard.
Hard play going in there. Miller sticking with it, but Chloe Bibby, the last 2 possessions, making an impact from a scoring standpoint. Look at how high this release point is, almost behind the head, but it is pure from beyond the arc. Then it's all about the unselfish play, giving the ball inside Masonis. Masonis making a move, starting facing up, taking a dribble and spinning towards the basket. Unselfish play, and Masonis, a player that Brenda Fries has said is the unsung hero of this team, who comes off the bench and just does all the little things that you need to do in order to win. Dive on the floor for a loose ball, set a good screen, get a bucket in transition.
And Brenda Fries talks about how unselfish this team is, how there's no jealousy. Everyone makes the easy pass to get a teammate involved. And you look at Masonis' stat line from the Nebraska game in particular. 4 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal. That's what Brenda Fries means, I think, when she talks about how unselfish her team is. After the Miller free throws, Jada Peebles is fouled in the act of shooting. And they may have called that a 3-point attempt.
3 times, here we go.
So yeah, it's going to be 3 free throws for Peebles.
Coming off. Masonis just trying to close out a little bit on Peebles, but ends up getting her, it looks like on the arm.
On the foot.
Almost steps on her foot, I was going to say. I don't think I've seen very many foot fouls called this year. But good awareness by Peebles to try to get a shot off as someone's closing out on her to try to draw that 3 shots at the line opportunity.
Peoples hits the second. She's an 85% free throw shooter. Every game starter for Nancy Fay this season, and one of her team's leading scorers at 11.4 points per game.
Returning for Illinois, number 44,
Kennedy Miles checks back in for Nancy Fay and Illinois. Diamond Miller, such a good ball handler, flips it out to Mimi Collins. Collins has it taken away. Aaliyah McQueen got her paws in there. As Benson falls over, Janae Terry takes the ball for Illinois. Bad pass. Bibby is on it. Diamond Miller. Styles. McQueen forces the tie-up. A couple of good defensive possessions for Illinois freshman Aaliyah McQueen.
Pace of play starting to get really quick here. And both teams are kind of getting a little rush. And you see the tie-up. McQueen just gets a hand on there. And a good recognition from McQueen to get in and get a hand on that ball. But Maryland's trying to get Illinois to get the ball past half court with about 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Always kind of a successful press.
McQueen was calling for it, launched it, and missed it. Kennedy Miles crashes the glass, misses the second try, but she drops the third attempt in. Great hustle by Miles.
Miles, a player who had 14 rebounds in the Illini last game, so she hustles hard down low.
Bibby off the mark from deep. Rebound tipped out to Nancy Fay on the Illinois bench, and it stays with Maryland. 43 seconds to go in the first quarter. Again, it's a Maryland offense averaging just under 92 points per game, and they are on track through one quarter as Eva Rubin checks back into the game after picking up a technical foul earlier in the first. Benson already has 11 to match her number, and it stays that way after the three rims off. Shot clock and game clock basically even right now. When do you think Illinois is going to get started here?
Probably about 10 seconds.
I didn't give you a lot of time to make that prediction, Megan. It's a jump ball.
But it's a good question because normally at the end of a game clock, shot clock situations, teams are going to wait for about 10 seconds to make a move, whether that be a high ball screen or trying to get to the basket at that time.
Gotcha. And I meant, that possession, obviously, because they were clearly playing for the last shot. Doesn't much matter, however. Maryland gets the ball back anyway, and Collins, before the horn, drops it in. Again, you mentioned the savant-like passing ability for Ashley Owusu, and she found her open teammate once again. 29-11, Maryland flexing in College Park. It's time for today's State Farm State of Success. Pretty easy pick here, Megan. I think you could pick a lot of different players on Maryland's roster, but Katie Benson leads the Big Ten in three-point field goal percentage, among other things, and she's been blistering hot today.
Benson is one of the best shooters in the country for a reason. It's because she's so good at finding her shot. Doesn't need a lot of space to get it off, and in that case, she had a lot of space. Benson also really smart coming off of screens, reading defenses, and using her defender, making a move off her, getting wide open for those shots. So there's a reason why she's such a lethal shooter, but she puts herself in those positions to get open buckets.
She's got as many points as Illinois right now, 11 through the first quarter, and Illinois committed 11 turnovers in that first quarter as well. And again, I don't know, I really think you give Maryland the credit for that. It's not like Illinois has been carelessly sloppy, although that's a high pass from Terry right there, but Maryland is just suffocating on defense right now, and that's a foul on Illinois' Kennedy Miles.
Suffocating is a great word to use regarding describing Maryland's defense. 11 turnovers committed by the Illini in that first quarter. Maryland gets 16 points off those turnovers, which is more points than Illinois scored in that quarter. Just goes to show you how much of an impact Maryland's defense has had in this game.
Look at Owusu in the post. Missed it, however, but there's Chloe Bibby.
Maryland's trying to get Owusu down in the post a little more. She makes really good decisions down there, and her passing out of the post area is really effective.
And she's got the strength to post up smaller guards as well. That was a mismatch on Jada Peebles, but more buzzing for Maryland's defense.
Coach Freese just got real pumped on that call there. She almost came out to the court to high-five her players. Always fun when the coaches get excited like that and kind of get into the game with their players.
Well, and that's just one of the hallmarks of Brenda Frese's coaching style, and we've seen a lot of highlights from her coaching career on the sideline as she just crossed the 500 win threshold. But she's always been like that over her 19 years with Maryland. Bibby thought about it, and after Miles left her feet, the pass goes to Mimi Collins, who knocks down the long two-point try.
Mimi Collins is money from the short corner. She can step out to 17 feet and knock that down. Has great floor awareness, especially down low.
Mimi Collins, again, really a forgotten player in women's college basketball. A Tennessee transfer. She sat out last season, rather. And one there. But she is making an impact on either end of the floor for Maryland this year.
At 6'3", Collins brings a great size, but look at Bibby with the pump fake, drawing the defense. You have 5 Illinois jerseys in the paint. Mimi Collins just steps out. That's a wide open jumper for her, and to be able to develop that type of 17-footer at 6'3", we talk about positionless basketball all the time. It just spreads the floor open and opens up more opportunities to score for your team.
2 good free throws there for Aaliyah McQueen. Those were actually her first free throw attempts of her career. Here's Owusu again in the post. Dispossessed, but Bibby is there again. Diamond Miller. That was a 3-point try. Owusu with the rebound and the step through.
Keep in mind, Owusu is a point guard, and she stands at 6 feet tall. So she's strong enough to be in the post to make those decisions, and she's also good enough to handle the ball and steal as well.
After the steal, the pass up to Miller. It caroms back to Owusu, and everything going Maryland's way. Kennedy Miles puts it on the deck. Drew the foul. That's on Diamond Miller.
Owusu just all over the place defensively, trying to make anything and everything happen. Let's start at the offensive end, though. Gets the offensive rebound, the putback for 2. Then the next possession, Diamond Miller gets a tip. Owusu gets her teammate back. And then how about just a little back and forth action between the sophomores to get the bucket for Maryland in transition. Also, keep in mind, Owusu and Miller, both sophomores. Brenda Freese says 2 of the most competitive players on her teams. Says practices are where the competition comes out, and those 2 have been excellent when it comes to that type of competing day in and day out practicing.
That's a really interesting point. And you look at how this Maryland team came together as Miles splits the pair of free throws. This year in particular, they had to get to know each other on Zoom before they could really take the floor and practice together. And so they got to know each other as people really before they got to know each other as players and competitors. And Brenda Freese thinks that's also a big part of the reason why this team has been so locked in from a chemistry standpoint.
It just goes to show you how good of a coach Brenda Freese is, because keep in mind, only 3 players from last year's roster that played significant minutes are on this team. So this is almost a brand new roster, and here they've come playing so well together. The chemistry they have is almost that of a team that's been together for 4 years.
Well, Ashley Owusu and Diamond Miller, part of that sophomore class that has had to shoulder the bulk of Maryland's load this year, and they have risen to that occasion. Owusu and Miller, the 4th highest scoring Big Ten combo in the conference. And there are a lot of really good scoring duos in the Big Ten this year.
And what impresses me most about that graphic is not only the scoring, but the rebounding as well. So getting it done in more than one statistical category.
That's right. Over 36 points per game between the 2 of them. 12 rebounds per game, nearly 8 assists per game. And there were so many questions about what this Maryland roster would look like between the players they lost to graduation. When you look at a Kyla Charles or a Steph Jones, they had players like Taylor Micel transfer out of the program. And so for Maryland, for this Maryland team to now be leading the country in points per game, I think it's something that not enough people are talking about nationwide, because you look at Maryland from 30,000 feet up, and okay, they're top 10 again, they're 14-2 again. That's just business as usual for Brenda Frese. But this is a very different team than it was last year, and they're finding ways to win in different ways.
And what's wild about the sentence you just said, being in the top 10 and everything is business as usual, and it's that consistency year in and year out for the program. It's why the Big Ten is one of the best in the country. A team like Maryland elevates the notion and the resume of this conference.
Great second look by Eva Rubin after the offensive rebound, but the putback goes begging, and here's Maryland again. Benson, after that 11-point first quarter, steps back and hits a 2-point try.
I always laugh when I see Benson shoot from inside of the three-point line. It's like, do you know how to shoot it there? But the answer is over-resounding. Yes, of course she does. A lethal scorer from all areas.
She's just so efficient from three-point range, you almost don't want to see her shoot from inside the arc, but there's a good three-pointer from Aaliyah McQueen.
Always important to just stay ready on the three-point line for Illinois. Just get as many buckets as you can, especially from three in those situations when there's a late closeout.
Benson, 5 straight points for the Harvard transfer.
Benson was late to that McQueen closeout when McQueen just hit the three for Illinois in the possession. Benson comes down and gets the 3 points back, and that's just kind of what goes to show you how good of a player Benson is.
McQueen tries her hand again from long range. Rebound is tipped to Taisia Kozlova. Owusu in the paint. Mismatch on Peebles. Fighting for her own miss, but it's McQueen who comes up with it. Janiyah Ephraim on the floor for Nancy Faye and drains a three-pointer. Rubin again tied up with Mimi Collins. Those two have been knotted up a couple of times underneath.
Just the competition again, night in, night out, down in the post, two strong physical players going against each other. There's going to be some of that.
And they called 3 seconds on Maryland.
Well, and both teams lighting it up from three. Maryland not the only one. McQueen on the reverse gets it to go. And then on the other end, Benson a little late on that closeout. She gets the 3 points back for Maryland. Terps rolling.
Welcome back to Illinois versus Maryland. And we've got more Illinois women's basketball coming your way on Saturday, noon Eastern on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app against Arella Garantes and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Megan, you've called a lot of Illinois basketball this year. The sophomore class is really what Nancy Faye is hanging her hat on. This is a group that can really lead this team going forward.
It's still a really young team, this Illinois team. It takes time to rebuild at places. Nancy Faye in her 4th season for the Illini. So you see the young talent that's coming in and still just trying to form that identity and figure out what works amongst this team.
Chris Foster's Megan McEwen. Good to be with you for this Wednesday matinee from College Park. Ephraim dribbles the ball out of bounds, but it was last touched by Stiles. .12 on the shot clock. Terry with the snag. Entry feed to Giovanna Lopez. Another player who missed a lot of time with injury for Nancy Faye this year. Maryland comes away with the miss. And Zoe Young's three-point try off the mark, but there's Diamond Miller with the putback.
Maryland always has 1 or 2 players underneath the basket trying to create that second chance opportunity. You don't see that a lot with some teams because they're trying to get back on defense, but Maryland's always trying to get an extra easy rebound putback.
McQueen misses the three-point try. Young after the rebound, and she touched it last.
Never want to try to save the ball underneath an opponent's basket because a lot of time a situation like that ends up happening. credit to Illinois for trying to create and keep that play alive.
Good to see Zoe Young getting some court time for Brenda Fries and Maryland. Had an ACL tear and a subsequent surgery last season, so she wasn't cleared to play even at the start of this season. Ephraim trapped in the corner, finds McQueen, who was open for three and missed it off the side iron. Bibby lobs one up to Young, pushes it across to Miller, and that's a charge taken by Lopez.
Miller coming down, full speed ahead. Lopez slides over. Let's take a look. I don't know about that one. Lopez was still moving. Her feet did not establish the position, so maybe I'd have to see it again if Miller dropped her shoulder, but definitely was not standing in place. So I don't know about that one.
Tough call in real time. Lopez was clearly out of the restricted circle, but it seems like every time that call is open to interpretation, block or charge.
It's one of the hardest calls in all of college basketball, and one that's highly contested as Aaliyah Nye hits from three.
Good to see Aaliyah Nye get going. She's got 5 points. Stiles, friendly roll off the rim, and Stiles, who had been held scoreless in her last 2 games, tallies the stat sheet.
A player that Coach Fries was really excited to have join the roster. Didn't know she would be okay to play until halfway through December, I believe.
Yeah.
So somebody that brings size at 6'3" and just some veteranship with some time she spent at Cal.
Peebles steps up and drains the three. And Brenda Fries has called a timeout. Now, she did something similar in the Nebraska game, right, Megan? It has nothing to do with the score, but sometimes just with the standard that Maryland is playing or not playing. And you can see she was very vocal in the huddle.
And credit Illinois for going on a run a little bit here. But again, Maryland is always very disciplined. That's kind of the identity of this team. And it's sometimes easy to get undisciplined when you have a really big lead. So Brenda Fries wants to make sure her team remembers we have an identity, we have a standard, we have to uphold it at all times.
Illinois has made 4 of its last 6 three-point shots. And if you talk to Nancy Fay, the Achilles heel for her team this year has been finding the 3rd and 4th scorer. They've got players in double figures, Jada Peebles, Janae Terry, but it's finding that 3rd or 4th scorer. Is it going to be Kennedy Miles? Is it going to be Eva Rubin? Is it going to be Aaliyah Nye? That's been the problem for Illinois' offense from a consistency standpoint. And another offensive foul called on Maryland. This one goes against Alasia Stiles.
Stiles probably just not set on that screen. Have to see a replay, but always important to make sure you have your feet down and set as a screener.
Terry with a no-look pass to Ephraim. Maryland got caught ball watching and did not pick up Ephraim inside.
Terry with the good movement, good vision, finding her open teammate.
Benson with the step to her right.
Sometimes all it takes is just a little sidestep. Again, the range really impressive from Benson.
Benson having a fantastic game, 19 points, as Peebles hits a contested 2-point try. Peebles up to 7 for the Illini. Owusu spins and is double-teamed, and Janae Terry, an excellent defender, was there for the tie-up.
Terry coming down. Look at Terry's eyes here. Back, good bounce pass underneath. Maryland just miscommunication defensively. Young gets caught ball watching, makes the wrong read there, but credit Illinois for this run they put on this last quarter. But look at Ashley Owusu down low, posting up. When you can post up down low and also handle the ball the way she can, dangerous for Maryland.
Well, Illinois had our Big Ten standout presented by Auto Owners Insurance, and maybe you could tag that on Owusu's last bucket also, and it's Maryland ball once again up 22.
Watch Owusu throughout this game and her handle in tight, crowded spaces. That ball is like a yo-yo for Ashley Owusu. She can handle it and make really good decisions despite having defenders on her.
Her expression never really changes either. And the coaching staff says she's a woman of few words during practice, but actually has a great sense of humor off the court. A rare air ball from Benzin, but Chloe Bibby always in the right place at the right time on the glass, it seems.
As a shooter, I'm always like, hey, can that just count as an assist as opposed to a missed shot, right? But Chloe Bibby, like I said, Maryland constantly has bodies underneath the basket trying to get those rebound putbacks.
Bibby, a great perimeter defender as well. There are 7 players on Maryland's roster that average at least 1 steal per game. Very active hands for Maryland defensively as Terry buys herself a trip to the free throw line on the Styles foul.
Illinois starting to get some better ball movement and just better movement in general offensively, and is starting to throw Maryland a little off guard. The Terps have been late on defensive rotations the last 2 possessions.
Janae Terry at the line.
Terry, a sophomore, and with a stat line that kind of would fit on Maryland's roster, Megan. 12 points, over 8.5 rebounds per game, 4 assists per game, 2 steals per game. Really a player who can get involved in a lot of different ways.
Always really important to be more than just a one-trick pony. You have to be able to bring more to the floor than just a scoring aspect.
Yeah. Maryland put up 29 points in the first quarter, 25 so far in the second, as we've got 50 seconds to go until halftime. Owusu to Bibby on the wing. Masonis tips the rebound up. It's out of bounds. And some indecision, but it stays with Maryland. 20 seconds on the shot clock after the reset. That was Taisia Kozlova fighting for the rebound. I beg your pardon. Entry pass to Mimi Collins. And Lopez wins the rebound. Terry, the dish. Lopez missed it long. It stays with Illinois.
Lopez misses, but once again, really great decision there by Terry. Driving in, drawing the defense, dropping it off to a more open teammate.
Peebles resets, top of the key. The shot clock is turned off. And at 10 seconds, Illinois gets into its set. Peebles elbow extended. Got it over Owusu. Clock continues to run. Brenda Freese, not sure what that was about. As it stands right now, a 21-point lead for Maryland at the half. And it looks like we're going to halftime. So, 54-33, Maryland over Illinois. Great defense by the Terps, in particular in that wild first quarter. After the break, we'll preview tomorrow's Big Ten doubleheader. We've got a first-half recap as well, so stay with us. Tomorrow on the Big Ten Network, a women's hoops doubleheader tips off with Caitlin Clark in Iowa hosting Penn State. Then Michigan and Indiana meet in a top 15 showdown. It's all tomorrow on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Megan, I know you and I are really looking forward to that Penn State-Iowa matchup, and you've had the chance to see Caitlin Clark up close and personal lately.
One of the best scorers in the country, not to mention she's only in her first year at the Division I level. Caitlin Clark leading the Big Ten in scoring, averaging nearly 30 points per game, coming off an almost 40-point performance. She also leads the Big Ten in assists with 6.6 per game, so getting it done in multiple areas for the Hawkeyes.
Yeah, she had a double-double in that 39-point performance as well, but Naz Hillman, maybe the one player that is going to take that Big Ten Player of the Year award away from Caitlin Clark.
From the standpoint of scoring, Naz Hillman has gotten it done this season, averaging 26 points per game. Can you believe that's actually second in the league right now? She also leads the Big Ten in rebounding with almost 12 per game. Naz Hillman plays so hard. Anytime you watch her, she always has an extra gear she kicks it up into, and that's why she has the Wolverines rolling.
You got any thoughts on the other 3 players on this graphic to round out the Big Ten scoring leaders?
It is just fascinating to think that somebody that averages nearly 20 points a game is ranked 4th or 5th in the Big Ten. It just goes to show you the offensive firepower this league brings in and night out.
It's a scoring league, no question about it. Good stuff all around. We've got more from College Park when we return with halftime after this. More to come from College Park. Megan McEwen returns after this to break down some highlights from the first half of Maryland and Illinois. Stick around.
When you start your day at Speedway, we've got what you need to have a good morning. We've got it hot, we've got it cold, we've got it sprinkled, we've got it ready. Because when you get off to a better start, you go on to a better day.
Have you or a loved one been wronged by pre-made breakfast? Well, Wendy's has your back, dropping the hammer with 2 of these made-to-order breakfast sandwiches for just $4. Get the breakfast you deserve now, 2 for $4. Only at Wendy's.
I think the sketchy website I bought this turtle from stole all my info.
Ooh, have you looked on the bright side?
Discover never holds you responsible for unauthorized purchases on your card. That's my turtle.
Fraud protection. Discover something brighter.
Bolt 24 keeping it real with Fernando Tatis Jr.
Being a rule breaker is not cool. Yes, it is. Like Bolt 24 Energized. It's lower in sugar and it has caffeine. Writing its own rules.
Bolt 24. All the good neighbors got surprisingly great rates with State Farm.
State Farm? Let me see that book.
I'm Jake from State Farm.
Is this a commercial?
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
5 Hour Energy helps you get stuff done. And now, when you purchase 5 Hour Energy, you can instantly win cash prizes. For complete rules and how to enter, visit 5HEWin.com. 5 Hour Energy, the official sponsor of getting stuff done.
I took out this personal loan with SoFi, and it significantly helped me lower the amount of interest I was paying. SoFi helped me pay off $23,000 of credit card debt, and I just couldn't have done that without them.
I used to be bad with money, but I'm not anymore.
I got my money right with SoFi.
Thanks, SoFi, for helping us get our money right.
Halftime in College Park. Maryland a 21-point lead over Illinois. Maryland doing its thing both offensively and defensively. And Megan, if you're ready, we've got some first half highlights in the queue. Take me through it.
Oh, I'm ready to go here. Maryland's defense came out on fire, forcing 11 Illini turnovers in the first quarter alone, scoring 16 points off those Illinois turnovers on the back of Katie Benzen, who has 19 points in that first half. But everybody on Maryland getting in on the defensive action for the Terps. But credit Maryland and its ability to play together, especially positionless basketball-wise. Chloe Bibby, traditionally a 4-player, can hit from 3. Mimi Collins at 6'3" can step out to the short corner, hit 17-footers. And actually Owusu at 6 feet tall, the point guard, playing down low, being strong in the lane, and Diamond Miller to round it all off. This team can score at multiple levels despite the height or position they play.
My mind is blown watching Maryland play that positionless basketball. Also, their defense, they forced Illinois to turn it over 15 times, 24 points off turnovers. That's basically the difference in this game.
And you talk about that first quarter being really strong defensively. Maryland in the second quarter kind of laid off a little bit of that defensive firepower. We'll see how they come out in this third quarter.
Well, Illinois would love a boost from Jada Peebles, who got her long-range game going in the first half. 9 points, 3 of 5 from the floor. A coaching career. Her sisters were there to celebrate the milestone in Lincoln, Nebraska last week. Great feels and vibes all around the program. They gave her a Raphael helmet to put on because these are the Terrapins after all. But this just in, we have a breaking news report. And for more, we go to our Maryland women's basketball correspondents, Tyler and Marcus, with the latest.
Hey guys, we're back live on air, and breaking news, Brenda Frese has just got her 500th win at Maryland.
That means she has the most wins in Maryland basketball history, men's and women's.
Making her the GOAT.
Well, we already knew that.
Because she's the best mother there is.
So, we love you.
Great delivery, fellas, and happy birthday. They're turning 13 today. Quite a week for Brenda Frese, who was awarded another ceremonial basketball pregame today. Just another one for the trophy cabinet, Megan. And you've been a part of a lot of landmark wins as well, of course, with your dad being such a successful college basketball coach. And moments like that got to be so cool to celebrate with your family.
They are really special to celebrate with your family. I mean, keep in mind, those kids are who she goes home to, and they are probably just as hard on her as she is on herself. So it truly is a family affair when you are a coach's kid. So just really special that her two are so involved with the program the way they are. And happy birthday, 13, finally teenagers?
Yeah.
My goodness. Big landmark birthday.
Huge landmark birthday. They've got each a pair of AirPods coming their way, and Brenda Frese really happy about the afternoon tip today. Terry misses the reverse because she'll get to be home in time for birthday dinner. We understand that burgers are on the menu, although there could be a game time decision for what's being served tonight. We understand that dessert has already been picked out and set in stone, but it'll be a great time either way. After the Mimi Collins miss, she pushes it back out to Ashley Owusu, who's cut off baseline. Bibby underneath.
Always hunting down low. Once again, Maryland is not going to leave a possession on the offensive end without doing everything possible to score, and that's a perfect prime example.
Jada Peebles in trouble. Katie Benson able to force the tie-up.
Maryland coming out with some stifling defense in this third quarter. Let's go back to this bucket. Mimi Collins staying down low, trying to fight for that. Driving in, just constant movement. Players constantly trying to get in positions for their teammates with the ball to see, so you never feel like you are in trouble as an offensive player on Maryland.
Maryland's defense was so good in the first quarter in particular. Illinois had committed 6 turnovers before they even made a field goal attempt. Not scored, but got a shot away. And it looks like Maryland's defense reinvigorated coming out of the locker room at halftime. Diamond Miller with the casual step back. Off the mark, and the rebound to Kennedy Miles, who needs a guard and finds Janae Terry.
Illinois started to go into the half with a lot of momentum, scoring on the offensive end. So I imagine that halftime talk from Coach Frese was going to tell him to pick it up a little bit on the defensive end.
Great pull-up shot by Terry, and you're right, Megan. Maryland only outscored Illinois by 3 points in the second quarter. It was the first quarter where Maryland jumped out to a 29-11 lead. Katie Benson, over 20 points for Benson today, and her 6th three-pointer.
You cannot close your eyes for a second when guarding Katie Benson, because she will make you pay.
Nye with the layup. Something happened to Maryland's defense there.
Illinois just breaking that press and taking advantage of the mishap from Maryland's defense.
Bibby. How about that pass by Diamond Miller? She led her perfectly to the spot on the wing.
Maryland's players, they're all playmakers. They're all facilitators, constantly looking for each other, especially in transition. That's when the magic happens for the Terps.
Jada Peebles got her second triple try. Much more offensive flow now. 2.5 minutes into the third. Benson slips one to Mimi Collins. Knocks it down.
And that was almost a fumbled pass a little bit. So for Mimi Collins to reach down, pick it up, and still manage to hit that 12-footer shows you the composure that Collins has played with this season.
Nye was calling for it for a while outside. Terry eventually got it to her, but after the miss, it's out of bounds into Illinois' corner.
Maryland coming out hot in this third quarter, especially from 3. Look at Benson. Nobody guards her. Easy to lose her sometimes coming off screens, but you have to make sure you are wide awake when guarding her. Then Bibby getting in on the action in transition. And like you said, credit Diamond Miller for having the floor awareness to find that open teammate.
So Benzin with her 5th 20-point game of the season after the Miller miss. Rebound is won by Illinois. Giovanna Lopez, ill-advised pass from Terry. Maryland was all over that. This is a 3-on-1. Ashley Owusu fouled by Miles. Actually, not a bad foul by Miles.
Owusu coming down, trying to get that easy layup. Like you say, not a bad foul by Miles. Have to make Owusu earn the points at the free throw line, but Miller looking up in transition. Miles gets back, but once again, credit Maryland for how hard they're playing defensively, creating those turnovers and runouts.
That is a big foul, however, on Kennedy Miles because it's her 4th. So she will sit. How long do you think she's out, Megan?
Well, with her 4th foul, you're going to have to probably sit her till the 4th quarter, I would think.
Okay.
Just to save her for the size and the experience she brings to the Illini.
Leah Brown had some foul trouble in a similar case yesterday for Michigan in what proved to be a close win over Michigan State. Here's Nye up the floor, left for Lopez. Lopez blocked, and then the ball was bounced off the backside of the backboard, it looked like.
And now the net is stuck up there,
Yeah.
and you hear the official. And Mimi Collins made that look so easy. Just let me get up and grab that net for you and iron some things out here at the Xfinity Center.
Let's play. Terry with some wiggle. Collins, maybe Benzin gets credit for the rebound. We'll see. Benzin directs traffic. Miller drives Terry. Throws one up on the second effort and draws the foul.
Really good footwork from Diamond
Very
Miller
good.
despite missing that bucket. You got to see how she's able to sidestep, maintain balance and composure when going up, but then credit her for just sticking with the play and trying to make sure she gets the bucket.
Not her best shooting day, now 1 for 7 from the floor. This coming after one of her best shooting performances against Nebraska, where she was 9 for 12 from the floor, had 24 points.
At the end of the day, coaches are always going to say this. They want you to have those types of games in really close games, right?
Yeah.
When you're up by 27, it's okay if you have a 6-point game. It's not the end of the world.
And I know Diamond Miller came into the program with a lot of pomp and circumstance, a McDonald's All-American, great jump shot drained by Jada Peebles there, but I think you can make a case for Diamond Miller being the most improved player in the Big Ten this year. She's scoring over 10 points more per game now than she did as a freshman when she was really just a role player on that veteran team. And her shooting percentages are way up across the board as well. Bibby drops it in. Maryland wanted a foul. They didn't get it.
Look how deep Bibby was in the lane as well. Almost on the unrestricted arc circle as she gets that layup to go. But to your point, I think there are a lot of people who could earn that Most Improved Player of the Year award for the Big Ten, but Diamond Miller is going to be in that conversation based off of that stat line alone. This Maryland team, again, really impressive the way that they have come into this year with almost a brand new roster, and they play so well together. It is as if they have been together for years.
Yes. That's why when you really dive into how this Maryland team came together this year and with how well they're playing, it really is one of the surprising stories of the conference and maybe even the country this year.
Year in and year out, you always know Maryland's going to be a top competitor in the conference, but how good are they going to be? And I think this year, that's why it's surprising, because they are as good as they are.
Benzin with another steal to Bibby in transition. That one rattles out. Lopez with the rebound for Illinois. Now some numbers for the Illini. Peebles, 12-footer. Couple of taps on the heel. Loose in the restricted circle, finally picked up by Mimi Collins. Track meet right now as Benzin slams on the brakes. That was a little flat. And a timeout called with the pace at a frenetic tempo. 4:32 to go in the third. It's all Maryland. The NCAA Selection Committee seeds the top 16. This came out on February 15th, only 2 days ago. And a couple of Big Ten teams on this list. Maryland, the number 2 seed in Region 2, 7th overall. Indiana, the 15th seed, the 15 overall seed, number 4 in Region number 3. So this is always an exciting time of year, Megan, as March Madness comes closer. And what do you think about this?
I think Michigan got the axe here and have every right to be frustrated that they were not included in this top 16. Michigan, in my opinion, one of the top 2 teams in this conference, especially when you have a player like Leah Brown and Naz Momen, who night in and night out have come up and produced big time. So curious to see how that list adjusts throughout the next couple of weeks, and we still got a lot of basketball to play before the NCAA tournament.
2 more points for Chloe Bibby. She's got 16. What do you think about Maryland's chances of getting onto the 1 seed line?
I think Maryland still has a chance to get on that 1 seed line as long as they continue taking care of business. And keep in mind, you have to have some of those teams in front of them lose some games as well. So there's still a lot that can happen before you get to that time of year.
Jada Peebles now with 17 points for Illinois. She's her team's leading scorer and only Illini in double figures. But I tell you what, the schedule for Maryland, there's a top 25 showdown against Northwestern as Katie Benson apologizes profusely. But,
I know we were laughing about that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But don't worry, Katie, we won't hold it against you. But otherwise, the schedule actually looks pretty good for Maryland to run the table, and as we know, they are almost unbeatable in the Big Ten tournament.
Maryland has owned the Big Ten tournament the last couple of years, so like I said, it's going to be interesting to see how things shake out. As you mentioned, that Northwestern game on the schedule is going to be one where that could potentially be a close game. But other than that, I mean, Maryland is controlling its own destiny at this point.
Lopez, 4-2. Great high-low action there for Illinois. And we say almost unbeatable in the Big Ten tournament, by the way, because, of course, Iowa got him, like Chloe Bibby was fouled. But to the point of the remaining schedule for Maryland, Minnesota, Purdue, there's the game at Northwestern on the final day of February, and then Penn State to close out the regular season. Minnesota, Purdue, and Penn State all in the bottom half of the conference right now.
Well, and last time that Northwestern and Maryland met in Evanston, Northwestern came up big last season. So those two are co-champs from 2020. So that'll be a fun rematch to see played out in Evanston.
Chloe Bibby at the free throw line. And look, Northwestern, we think, matches up pretty well against Maryland because of how athletic and defensively strong Northwestern's guards are.
That's going to be what I'm interested to see as well. How can the guard play of Northwestern kind of stifle and slow down Maryland's offense?
And how well will Northwestern's guards be able to guard Ashley Owusu in the post? Lopez traveled because, you know, that's where Owusu will probably be in that matchup. In part, she plays all over.
She is all over, especially today, too. She's been in the post, out on the perimeter. But yeah, that's a game I'm really looking forward to on the schedule coming up in general for Big Ten basketball.
Owusu with the runner. She's got that in her bag also.
That is a high level of difficulty shot because you have to get it at the exact right angle and understand where the ball is going to be released from. So that's a high level shot from Owusu.
That was a very difficult reverse for Peebles. It almost went down. Benson brings it back out. Maryland has topped 20 points in all 3 quarters now, and McQueen swats it out of Owusu's hands, and it stays with Maryland. Owusu just kind of pushed Peebles aside and hit an even more difficult runner than she did the last time.
And that was actually from relatively far out to go off of 1 foot, 1 hand in the air for the runner. Such great body control and strength from Owusu.
Peebles misses from the baseline, and Lopez touches it last out of bounds. So here is Peebles' last bucket for Illinois. They called it a 3, but her right foot was on the white line there, and it's the white line that is 3-point line in the women's game, and so it's 77-46. So the 2-point shot takes 1 point off of Illinois' total.
I always say you got to get some smaller shoes on, get that toe behind the line.
That's right. Faith Masonius out to Owusu. A good-looking 3-point try from Owusu, who does shoot under 30% from long range this year. And it stays with Maryland ball.
If there's one area of Owusu's game that could continue to improve, it is that 3-point shot, but everywhere else, she is a force to be reckoned with.
Miller lost it inside. Aaliyah Nyes got it now for Illinois. McQueen blows by Kozlova.
Good heads-up play in the open court by McQueen to change up speeds and beat her man to the basket.
Masonius bricks one. Rebound at the free throw line, garnered by Lopez. Nye open for 3. She's Illinois' best 3-point shooter percentage-wise. Able to get her own miss at the top of the key. Bucket pass out to Ephraim.
Maryland getting a little sloppy with the defensive principles. Have to remember to box out shooters.
Hard to box out the 6'3" Giovanna Lopez, however. Nye had a layup brewing, but dribbled it off her knee, and McQueen throws up a wild shot, and it's finally Maryland ball. Illinois they did a lot of things right in that possession, Megan, just couldn't land the shot. Out of bounds, Illinois ball. Careless possession for Maryland. That look says it all. 10th turnover of the game for Maryland.
In these types of games, it's really difficult to stay disciplined, but you have to try to stay disciplined. This is a great time to try to work on some offensive principles you might not be able to work on in a really close game. So just keeping that discipline and your identity as a team.
Peebles has gotten it going today.
Peebles does a nice job creating her own shot, especially coming off screens, able to have the awareness, read the defense, and make the play.
Owusu sits on it. Is this a zone, Megan? Or Illinois as Owusu drives and misses. Masonius denied as well. Styles might have a chance before the horn sounds, but she couldn't get a shot up.
Yes, to answer your question, coming into that zone, we've seen Illinois mix up defenses a little bit, but how about Jada Peebles getting it done offensively for the Illini? Create your own shot, stop on a dime, and let it pop.
One of the things that's really fun to cover about this Maryland team, there's just good vibes on the bench and off the court. You see Angel Reese there, a freshman who's been out for a while because of a foot fracture, but she just got a new car. Her mom surprised her after practice one day with a new Nissan, and her teammates were in on the surprise, there to celebrate with her. That's Angel hugging her mom right now. And just like a really fun video to watch. You can't help but smile, Megan, because the team just was clowning around, having a great time.
You get a car, and it was really fun if you go listen to everyone's reaction in this video.
We're going to Disney World.
Like, this is just a team that you want to be around, and a team that like you would love to be a part of, because you can just see how good the chemistry is. Like, look at Diamond Miller and Angel Reese celebrating the car. I mean, overall, I love also the big bow that was put on the car.
Yeah.
You got to wonder how long that took to put on there.
Well, for Maryland basketball fans, perhaps the most underrated part about that video as Diamond Miller cams the mid-range jumper was the fact that you saw Angel Reese not only out of a boot, but jumping up and down on that right foot that she fractured 4 games into the season. So she is getting closer to making her return to Maryland's lineup. She had such an impressive 4-game debut to her college career, and getting her back would give Maryland more depth and make this already elite team even scarier.
What's most impressive about Reese, and Coach Freese spoke to this, is that as a freshman, Angel Reese came in, had a great 4 games, then had this awful injury happen, but she's never once felt bad for herself. She's always come with a great attitude, day in and day out, and shows up for her teammates, and her teammates love her. I mean, look, come on, how can you not love this? Look at the movement, the dexterity with the strength and conditioning coach. I mean, she is just a ball of fun on the sidelines. We just need to have an Angel Reese cam the entire time so people can see how she celebrates for her teammates. But credit the freshman for having that really good attitude despite dealing with this type of adversity.
Yeah, I second everything you just said, and I'll also stump for a Keith Pugh fan cam at all times, the assistant director of basketball performance, who's legendary for his reactions on the sideline and also for playing gospel music in practice sometimes. So he is a vibrant part of the team fabric here for the Maryland women's basketball program also.
I just like how they had coordinated celebrations as well.
Yes. Bibby has it pried away from her. So keep an eye on Coach Pugh here in the black shirt, lower left-hand part of the screen. Getting involved with the seated chair shots from 30 feet away. Needs a little more loft on that one, Coach. But, you know, that's a tough shot too, Megan, right?
We got pregame rituals, you know, you just got to shoot your shot.
Yeah.
What's the old cliche? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Can you imagine the bragging rights he must have had he made that?
Ephraim off the mark, Owusu the rebound. Pugh's background, by the way, is in football. And it's interesting to hear him talk about some of his experiences in a football locker room that he brings now to a basketball environment as Chloe Bibby sticks with it and banks it in.
You see Angel Reese on the sideline flexing and then hitting the floor. So once again, just this Maryland team, good vibes all around, a team that's clicked on multiple cylinders.
And it's good to know that when Angel Reese gets back on the floor again to join Diamond Miller and company, they'll still have Keith Pugh on the sidelines to bring the energy.
I wonder who he's going to be doing coordinated celebrations with next, though. Who's on that short list?
I think he can handle it solo if he wants to go that route, but yeah, he'll need a partner in crime for sure. Bibby after it and saves it to Owusu. Kozlova off the heel, long rebound to Terry. Terry is fouled by Owusu.
Terry doing a good job coming down in transition, trying to draw some sort of foul, whether that be driving directly to the basket or in that situation, almost looking like she might look to pass.
I got you right here. Work, E!
Erica Porter working inside, blocked, however, by Mimi Collins. Kozlova tries to pounce on it, up to Owusu after a tip. Kozlova underneath, lays it in. Eagle-eye vision from Owusu.
Talk about that floor vision. Ashley Owusu, not very many people could see or make that type of play in the Big Ten. Laser vision from number 15 in white.
17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Just another day at the office for the Maryland sophomore. Nye lets it fly and bottoms one out.
Nye, another player that just continues to develop, not only from that three-point line, but just as a scorer for the Illini.
Kozlova with another look inside.
Ashley Owusu making her presence known, not from a scoring standpoint, but from a facilitating standpoint. Coming down, saving plays. Look at the vision here. Get the ball to only where your teammate can catch it, then the other end down. Just a little scoop underhand pass for the bucket. Maryland rolling.
Biggest stars on an all-new episode of The Journey, fueled by Gatorade. Tonight at 6 Eastern on the Big Ten Network. You won't want to miss it, and I won't say any more about it. I don't want to ruin the surprise or anything. Before the game, Illinois' staff was practicing its three-quarter court shot. And look at this. Tell you what, this is a Big Ten standout presented by Auto Owners Insurance. How about the range on my man? That's like 65 feet, Megan.
65, 70 feet. Why not? Can you imagine if you were playing horse and that was the final shot you hit to win the game?
Game over.
I would brag about that for a year.
Game over.
Just pure buckets and money from the Illini staff.
Nye tries glass and misses. Diamond Miller the rebound. What's your horse sweet spot?
Oh, I love a good corner three.
Okay. Masonis loves a good reverse.
The reverse layup, by the way, also a great shot to use in horse, especially when you play against someone who hasn't played basketball before. Really confuses their mind a little bit.
So you just take advantage of, people who are less fortunate than you. Okay.
When it comes to horse, all bets are off. It is a competition.
Ruthless. Nancy Panayotopoulou comes onto the court for Illinois. Redshirt junior from Athens, Greece. She actually made her Illini debut last season in the game against Maryland. Diamond Miller denied a layup, but she is fouled.
Diamond Miller continues with the strong takes to the basket. She has the ability to score from 3 levels, the 3, mid-range, and at the hoop, but she just continues to stay active in that offense and create those opportunities for herself.
Diamond Miller today, Megan, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, just 2 for 10 from the floor. But again, that's what makes Maryland so good. They can just go through a revolving door of who's going to go off on a given night. And it's not like Diamond Miller hasn't contributed in other areas.
Diamond Miller just had 24 points in her last game for Maryland. But again, it just goes to show you this team is so dynamic on multiple levels. Very unselfish play and also playing really hard defensively.
Lyric Robbins on the drive is fouled hard.
Lyric Robbins just with the strong take to the basket, trying to generate some sort of offensive continuity for Illinois. I don't think Diamond Miller thought she fouled there, though, based off of her reaction after that was called.
I agree. Robbins 5 for 8 at the free throw line this season in her senior year. And that one does not get a roll. Miller, just a tad wide. Robbins fights for the rebound inside and wins it. Peebles nearly fouled by Collins. Peebles. Miles crashes the glass and lays it in.
Miles also crashing from the opposite side, that weak side, trying to create that opportunity for Illinois. Good awareness from 44 in blue.
Yeah, remember, it's been a while since we've seen Kennedy Miles. She picked up her 4th foul pretty early in the 3rd quarter. About 6 minutes left in the 3rd. Massonis with just her 2nd made 3-pointer of the season. Gets Maryland to its scoring average this year, 92. With 5 minutes left. Thrown away. Timeout on the floor. Maryland closing in on 100. With Maryland up 37. We check in with Megan McEwen, who has got her late season awards team put together. Megan, take us through it.
How about just some, unique categories to chat about? Most improved player, I think Izzy Bourne, sophomore at Nebraska, has really stepped it up this season, has become an impact player for the Huskers. She's averaging about 13 points per game, so that's much improved from her freshman campaign. You talk about transfer of the year, there was a lot of movement in the Big Ten. Leah Brown at Michigan has been unreal for the Wolverines, averaging nearly 20 points per game, shooting 58% from the field. But it's impressive because now Michigan not only has a Naz Hillman, who leads the league in scoring, then you add Leah Brown. It goes to show you how dangerous and lethal Michigan is from a scoring standpoint. Surprise team. Last season, Penn State only won 1 Big Ten game. This year, they already have 5 Big Ten wins. You can just see the chemistry so good with that team. So just kind of some fun little awards we're kind of giving out and talking about. This is one of the best leagues in the country. Potentially could get 7 or 8 teams into the NCAA tournament. Multiple, I think 8 teams ranked in the top 40 net rankings. 5 teams ranked in the AP top 25. Just goes to show you the depth of this league and how any given day Anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah. We'll see Penn State in action tomorrow, you and I, when they take on Iowa. That'll be a high-scoring affair, we think. Miles flips one up, bangs off the window, and a jump ball is called. By the way, stick around. I put together my late season awards team as well. And the big unveil is coming, Megan, so get ready.
The one we did not talk about, our category was biggest performance of the year, and my choice for that was Naz Hillman's 50-point game in a losing effort to Ohio State.
Robbins uses the glass for 2 for Illinois. You could pick that performance for Naz Hillman. Remember, she also had a 36-point, 22-rebound game as Styles answers with a layup for Maryland.
Naz Hillman, I just can't explain how to guard her. I don't know how you stop a player who plays as hard as she does, who has the footwork that she has, the size and the motor. It's a lethal combination.
Pretty small lineup for Maryland right now. Here's Miller working on Peebles.
Miller reading the defense, understands she has a size advantage against Peebles and able to keep her on her back to score the layup.
Nancy Paniatopoulou out to Robbins. You surprised that Diamond Miller's still in at this point?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, you still have a couple of starters still in for Maryland. Not a huge roster necessarily regarding people to play, but Chris, you're up. Who you got? Ooh, this is...
I want to give Janae Terry some love as my most improved player. She's averaging not only 6 points per game more this season as last season, but her rebounds are up by 5. She's got about an assist per game more this year. Transfer of the year, I mean, it's a pick-em between Chloe Bibby and Katie Benson as far as I'm concerned, but Bibby with what she can do in the pick and pop and on the glass. I think Iowa is my surprise team, honestly, and that's really a testament to Caitlin Clark taking the conference and the country by storm, number 2 leading scorer in all of women's college basketball right now. And for my performances maybe of the year, Grace Berger, 3 triple-doubles this year. Are you serious? I mean, I know that's not one singular performance, but no one in the country, as far as I know, has got more than 1 triple-double this year, and Grace Berger's done it 3 times.
Can you imagine leading the country in triple-doubles? I mean, Grace Berger does not get enough credit for Indiana. She does a little bit of everything for that team, not necessarily in the scoring category, but always getting the ball to teammates in positions to score, rebounding the ball. Really impressive player for the Hoosiers.
She's like the Russell Westbrook of women's college basketball, walking triple-double. Zoe Young in the game again for Maryland, running the point right now. Young lets it rip and turns it right through.
Young, look at the baseline, the sideline getting hyped up for the bucket. And that's where this Maryland team's fun to watch at these end of games, where some players that don't necessarily get as many minutes as some of these starters start to come in and play well and hit those shots. The bench gets absolutely wild. Young knocks it down from 3, but take a look at the bench. Look at Angel Reese getting up. Skip to the loo all the way down for the high five. Oh, man. She got more excited with that shot than she was excited to get the car, it looked like.
Yeah, I agree. That's the 2nd straight game with a 3-pointer for Young, by the way. Kozlova had the bench ready to erupt. Masonis with a tough look. Diamond Miller wins the battle for Maryland. Did not get enough English on that shot attempt, and the rebound to Solape Amusin. Nye working on Young. Finger roll, left it short. Maryland ball, 1:40 to go. Stiles is fouled. We can, I think, Megan, pencil in Maryland as winners of this game. It would improve the Terps' record to 15-2, 11-1 in conference as we look at the Big Ten standings.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be really interesting down the stretch, especially when we look towards the Big Ten tournament coming up. The first 4 teams get that coveted double bye, and I'm curious to see how it's going to finish between 4, 5, and 6. That type of area is going to be an interesting race to see how that one shakes out.
Well, Alasia Stiles' free throw puts Maryland at and now over the century mark for the 4th time this season, but for the first time in Big Ten play. Maryland's season high is 115 that they dropped on a top 25 Arkansas team back in late November. Tara O'Malley tries to save it out of bounds for Illinois, but does not. It's Maryland ball.
Keep in mind, putting up 100 points on that Arkansas team, that same Arkansas team beat UConn this season. Just goes to show you how great of a scoring team and how much power this Maryland team brings to the floor night in, night out.
And they're not done yet with another offensive possession. Stiles got it.
Just constantly battling for boards down low. This Maryland team's not going to take their foot off the gas pedal despite the score.
There's a takeaway as Zoe Young jumps the passing lane. Young with her back to the basket. Somehow squares up, misses the shot, and it's last touched by Masonis, Illinois ball. Amusin with her foot on the line. Rebound up for grabs. Picked up by Diamond Miller. Miller on the floor until the very end of this one. And she will dribble out the remaining seconds to officially put it in the win column for Maryland. Win number 501 for Brenda Frese. Maybe not as memorable as number 500, but Maryland continues to cruise, Megan.
It doesn't matter. A win is always a win, and it always feels good if you're Coach Frese. But this Maryland team came out really good game from the standpoint of playing together. 24 assists for this team, not to mention crashing the offensive glass. 21 offensive rebounds. To put that into perspective, this team averages about 16 boards a game. So overall, doing all the little things necessary in order to get this win.
14 steals as well for Maryland, and in that first quarter, it was their defense and Katie Benson that got the Terps out to a great start.
Benson couldn't miss from 3 in that first half, and just such great awareness, trying to look for her shot, constantly hunting to get those 3-pointers to go.
Ashley Owusu, what more can you say about her? Just the omnipresence impacting every aspect of the game.
The body control, the way she handles, the way she can absorb contact and still score. Ashley Owusu can get it done on so many different levels for this team. And look at the unselfish play. The numbers you see on your screen just goes to show you how balanced this Maryland team is.
Yeah, Chloe Bibby with a 20-point performance, almost a double-double, and it feels like we hardly talked about her.
Exactly what I was going to say. You know, you forget that's how good this team is that you forget to talk about somebody who had nearly a double-double, but just solid numbers across the board. Again, the unselfish play, I think they're 24 assists. This team averages almost 20 assists a game. So once again, it's all about putting your teammates in positions to score and celebrating when someone else does well.
Mark it down, get to know this Maryland team. They're not going anywhere. They seem to be peaking at the right time here in February. Once again, our final score, Maryland 103, Illinois 58. Coming up next, it's The Journey on the Big Ten Network for Megan McEwen, Keon Dolachahi, our producer, Todd Benjaminson, our director, along with our entire crew. I'm Chris Fosters. Thanks for watching, and so long from College Park.